Xinjiang province.
A British travel blogger wanted to find out if Xinjiang was really like what the UK and US media portrayed. So he decided to come to China and see for himself. At the start of his video, the blogger stated he wasn't here to verify claims of China persecuting an entire people. He just wanted to show the authentic lives of the people in Xinjiang. If it truly matched what the British media said, then he would ruthlessly report the facts. But right after arriving in China, he ran into trouble trying to catch his train to Xinjiang. The language barrier and the massive station confused him. With only 10 minutes left until boarding, he still couldn't find his platform.
And that means I've got about 10 minutes to figure out this massive fucking Chinese train station. Platform 3. Where is platform 3? Where is platform 3?
Just as he was getting frustrated, a duty police officer noticed the British blogger's panic. Not only did he take him to the platform, but walked him all the way to his seat. This completely surprised him.
What I love about China, everything's so incredibly convenient.
The blogger, who had done his research, downloaded Chinese payment apps. Getting around China became an absolute breeze. The blogger couldn't believe one app could handle so many services. What I love about China is everything is so incredibly convenient. There's one app for everything. Everything's pretty easy. After a good sleep on the train, he finally arrived in Xinjiang. Being a budget traveler who loves extreme challenges, he decided his first stop would be Kuka, camping outdoors. But what shocked him was the sheer size of Xinjiang. It's as big as -1 United Kingdoms, and the place he got off was a staggering 200 kilometers from his destination. This was mind-blowing. To reach it before dark, he approached a local taxi driver. He asked him if he could possibly give him a lift. He couldn't afford the fare to Kuka, though it was a big ask. The driver happily agreed. He even drove him 10 kilometers to a better spot for hitching a ride. The warm conversation along the way made the blogger feel incredibly welcome.
Good luck, thank you so much. World's nicest taxi driver.
For his next leg, he met another kind soul, a truck driver, and his destination conveniently passed right by where the blogger wanted to go. He was over the moon. This meant for the next part of his journey, he wouldn't need to find another ride. The Chinese truck driver was also very chatty, though they didn't share a language. Using a translator app, they managed to communicate pretty well. Seeing the driver's constant smile, the blogger felt completely at ease. He was already realizing Chinese people were nothing like the dark picture painted by Western media. Instead, they were incredibly warm. During a rest stop, the truck driver gave him an ice lolly. This Chinese hospitality completely floored him. Thank you was the only word he could say. Thank you repeatedly.
Okay, Shishi. These truck drivers have given me a ice lolly.
Watching the truck drivers chat animatedly, though he couldn't understand, he happily stayed nearby. He found listening to Chinese conversations really interesting. He really wanted to join in. After the break, the driver and the blogger set off again. Shortly after starting, they encountered a police checkpoint. Since there was a foreigner in the vehicle, the police naturally asked a few more basic questions. Fortunately, the police were only verifying his ID and entry details. Everything was sorted in just 2 minutes. As they left, the police officer warmly told the blogger that China welcomed his visit. But clearly, the language barrier meant he didn't understand a word. Worried it might be something harsh. Only after the car drove away did he dare pull out his phone to ask the truck driver what it meant. When he learned the truth, he felt deeply ashamed.
So yeah, it seems like, you know, they weren't like keeping tabs on me. You just have to register. You have to register everywhere. You register at a hotel. You register. I had to register at a train station.
Finally, at the rest stop, the attentive truck driver noticed the blogger hadn't drunk water in a while. He thoughtfully gave him 2 large bottles of mineral water. This made the blogger feel even more ashamed. "So I can have one of these bottles, thank you." "This is so sweet, man." He and this driver could become great friends. And now, he remembered his new friend's name, John Xinjiang. He had to admit, the friendliness of Chinese people was genuine kindness from the heart. It was something he'd never experienced in any other country. "Never seen anything like that in my life. The best thing that could possibly happen to me in China ... is making friends with a group of ... Chinese people, thanks to all the rides and this driver's kindness." He felt Chinese people were the very definition of wonderful. So when they parted ways, he offered to treat Zhang Xingliang to a meal. Unexpectedly, Zhang Xingliang not only refused, but insisted on treating him instead.
Let me give you some money for the food. No, no. 谢谢.
Finally, dinner. Which was incredible. It was this meal that completely changed the blogger's view of Chinese people. At this point, he wished he could just stay in China. The people of China so far have been absolutely amazing. And I love them. And I love China. Not only are the people incredibly friendly, but the food is also incredibly delicious. He swore he had never tasted such delicious lamb skewers in his life. After dinner, he found a spot and pitched his tent. Waking up the next morning, he encountered many local Uyghur people. He was amazed that Chinese appearances varied so much by region. These are the Uyghur people of Xinjiang. The blogger continued towards Kuko with the driver. When they finally reached the destination and had to part, the blogger's reluctance was palpable.
Bye, Chung Xing Lian. Love you.
Just after getting out, he planned his next stop, Kashgar. While waiting to hitch a ride, he encountered patrolling police officers. Hearing the blogger plan to hitchhike all the way to Kashgar, they strongly advised against it. They felt it was unsafe for a foreigner alone in a remote area, with no local buses. They called him a taxi instead, because the road to his transfer point was about an hour's drive. The blogger hadn't planned to hitchhike that far anyway, but he understood. The Chinese police did this out of concern for his safety. One officer even specifically bought him some bread.
They were just concerned about me. One of them actually went and bought me some bread. He translated, he said, "This is Chinese toast, try it." So they were very, very nice policemen. I think it's more just a matter of my safety and my concern. They just concerned about me and they want me to be safe.
However, this wasn't the most surprising part. Arriving at the transfer point, the driver charged him only 40 RMB, about $5, a price he could hardly believe.
An hour-long journey and she only charged me 40 RMB, which is like $5.
With Kashgar still a daunting 450 kilometers away, he decided to camp at the transfer point first. Unsure where camping was allowed, he asked a local man for help. Not only was the man very helpful, but he also offered to drive him there.
I can give you money for the ride.
不用了，我很乐意帮助你。
谢谢，谢谢，谢谢。
Every person he met, every experience, made him genuinely like China even more. On the way to the campsite, the blogger couldn't help telling the man just how much he loved China.
I like China very much. The people are very, very friendly.
After getting out, the blogger still felt a lingering sense of guilt.